Hello, Dense MC here with another Charlie's Angels summary and review. Broadcast on November 2nd, 1977, Unidentified Flying Angels is the 9th episode of the 2nd season. The Angels are hired to find a woman's eccentric aunt, which soon leads to an exclusive UFO research foundation she was a member of. Bosley and Chris pose as rich potential new members, while Sabrina pokes around as a private eye looking for something else. Kelly gets flying lessons from an ex-astronaut involved with the UFO Foundation, but finds it could be a trap. This episode features Ross Martin as UFO Foundation host Dr. Franklin Perrin, Dennis Cole as ex-astronaut James Britton, this is Cole's second appearance as a villain, and Bill Striglos as nervous believer Theodore Nolan Jr. Also featured in this episode is Ken Olfson as the aunt's arrogant secretary Seth Corday, Michelle Nichols as client niece Joyce Sheridan, and John McKinney as a Foundation henchman. The UFO special effect appears to be stock footage of the C-57D spaceship from the 1956 film Forbidden Planet. Interesting scene of the episode is when Kelly visits UFO believer Theodore Jr.'s workplace to pump him for information. She pretends to be an alien and even shows him the symbol cooked up by the Foundation. However, when she does, she's inexplicably underlit by a blue glow. Not sure how Kelly pulled that off. The scene is also famous for her alien outfit, an extremely short silver mini dress with matching go-go boots, and big sunglasses reminiscent of the type the aliens from the 1983 VTV series would wear. Interesting dialogue of the episode comes right at the beginning as the niece explains what kind of woman her aunt was. Joyce says, "My aunt always liked to tell people she was an author. She did actually write a book once. It was called How to Cook Supernaturally. It was strange, but then she was strange." With an introduction like that, it's a wonder Charlie and the Angels even took up the case. After being hired by the niece of the missing woman, Sabrina and Bosley's first stop is the aunt's estate. Posing as bankers, they finally get a clue out of the stubborn secretary, as well as swiping the aunt's dog. Not sure how the secretary missed that, but the dog didn't like him anyway. The eccentric woman had joined the Celestial Research Foundation, an expensive UFO institute, and told him she'd visit another planet with an ex-astronaut, which is why he didn't call anyone when she went missing a month ago. Boz does double field duty now by acting as a sugar daddy to airhead Chris, who's way into aliens and stuff. It's the appearance of ex-astronaut Britton that helps legitimize Dr. Perrin's UFO scam, selling views of a passing alien ship, secret alien lifestyle tips, and later an alien superfuel that members can invest in. Chris notices the nervous reaction of one of the Foundation members when she mentions the missing member's name. Sabrina does a sloppy job tailing the doctor and his henchmen and gets caught. If she does this on purpose, it's really risky as they are armed and aggressive. Instead of burying her in the desert, the Angels don't know at this point that the doctor is a killer, they allow her into their office. Her excuse was being in the employ of a husband tailing an unfaithful wife who's a Foundation member. Meanwhile, Kelly strikes up a relationship with the ex-astronaut in the guise of wanting flying lessons, his part-time job. During an intimate moment, he confesses that he's down on his luck and involved in a scam. Kelly urges him to quit his life of crime, and he becomes suspicious of her real identity. Later, she poses as an alien to get more information out of the nervous member, Theodore Jr. You can see the secretary's subtle reaction to Kelly's rather interesting space-inspired outfit as she lets her into his office. He reveals the aunt was taken away by the henchman after she mentioned the temperature of Venus. Sabrina discovers the aunt had a book which noted the high temperature of Venus, making it impossible for the aliens to come from there, as the Foundation doctor claimed. How she got the aunt's book out of her estate without the secretary causing a stink is anybody's guess. I don't know why this information was enough to kill to keep secret. An easy lie would be that the aliens had the technology to nullify the heat despite being anatomically similar to humans, but whatever. During one of the doctor's presentations, Bosley is able to slip away with the aunt's dog and searches the grounds, now that they're convinced that she was murdered here. Literally sniffing around, Boz finds the shallow grave, while Sabrina finds the special effects machine that produces the quote-unquote UFO that awes all the gullible members. For some bizarre reason, she starts playing with the controls while photographing it, causing the Doctor and his henchmen to investigate and catch her a second time. Chris helps distract the villains long enough for Boz and the police to arrive. However, Kelly is in the middle of a flying lesson with the ex-astronaut who is now under pressure to kill her since they figured out she's a private investigator. Kelly's no fool, however, and notices that her seatbelt is compromised and jury-rigs a new one made from her own belt. After several inverted maneuvers fail to dislodge Kelly, she's had enough and orders Britain to land at gunpoint. Back at the Townsend office, the niece vows to use the sale of her aunt's estate for the charity work she does in Africa. Also, Charlie reveals the trick used to make the alien superfuel, much to Bosley's embarrassment, who was quite fooled by the demonstration he watched. Oh, Boz. Was the 1977 film Close Encounters of the Third Kind any influence on this episode? I'm glad it didn't go in a supernatural direction, as it easily could have. It appears to present UFOs, and by extension alien life, as bogus through all the derisive dialogue, but that may be due to its use in a scam. It's a straightforward scam, no different from the Seance episode, but in this case a member is murdered to keep the secrets. As I mentioned in Season 1's episode Dancing in the Dark, actor Dennis Cole and Jacqueline Smith married shortly before this episode aired, and this time they have scenes together. A fun, better-than-average episode with Bosley in the field and Sabrina involved with 2 big action sequences. IMDb gave this episode a 7.2 out of 10, and I'll bump it up to 7.4. Good morning, Charlie.